plus fresh-baked cookies, cakes, pastries, and specialty coffee drinks. Open Tuesday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at 209 South Illinois in the Kaleidoscope Building. Call 529-4303 or find us on Facebook or at cristados.com.
Support for Talk of the Town on WDBX comes from Carbondale Main Street, presenting the Brown Bag Concert Series from noon to 1 p.m. every Wednesday through the end of July at the Town Square Pavilion. Carbondale Main Street, working to improve and promote Carbondale's downtown district. More information at carbondalemainstreet.com. Support comes from SIH Medical Group. Pediatrician Ashley Cater, MD, is accepting new patients in Heron. She specializes in the care of babies, children, and teenagers. For more information, visit sihmedicalgroup.net.
Good morning, Carbondale. I'm Amy Fox, the Public Relations Officer for the City of Carbondale, and I'm joined by Gary Williams, the City Manager, and we also have a special guest in studio. This is Talk of the Town, and you're listening to WDBX FM Carbondale, and we do have Susan Odom in studio this morning. She is from the University of Illinois Extension Office. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And today we're specifically talking about the Small Business Innovation Research Program workshop that's going on the campus of SIU this week on June 28th.
Yes, that's right, Thursday morning.
And if you want to tell us a little bit about this program and what people can expect.
Okay. With the workshop, we hope to just engage at a variety of levels. One is to increase awareness just among community leaders and economic development professionals that may be dealing with small businesses, but also to bring small businesses in that may have an idea. Maybe they have an innovative idea, they're an entrepreneur, they have some kind of thought that they want to move something forward, and they maybe need a little bump to do some research on that. So this USDA Small Business Innovation Research, I'm going to call that SBIR, just to make that shorter. This is a great program that has been in existence since 1982 and has really helped a lot of small businesses throughout the country. One of the things that was identified is here in the state of Illinois, along with some other states, there really are not as many applicants coming from certain areas, and that's especially true in the rural areas. So this initiative that I'm working on is to really increase awareness in some of the rural areas as to this opportunity, so that some of the great success stories that we read coming out of the SBIR program, maybe one of our businesses is that new success story that comes about next year. So,
and what type of resources are available to these potential new businesses here in Southern Illinois?
Okay. With it, it is a very targeted grant opportunity, and with that, it is a grant opportunity. It's also highly competitive, so it's not something for just every business to consider. But really with the program, they're really looking, as USDA obviously does, looking at things that advance American agriculture, rural communities, rural health care, the environment. Those are really the topic areas that they look at. And with that, they're really looking at new technological innovations that will really help to move the country forward. Perhaps it's an idea to, look at a niche business that can really help to improve something within agriculture. One of the examples, one of the success stories is really a new ergonomic set of farm tools for women who are working in farming. So, their bodies obviously are different, so they have really done some research, and now they have a new line of tools, so like shovels and spades, things of that nature that are better designed for women to use. And they're also looking at some new, that company is also considering expanding into like tillers and things like that, rototillers and things like that. So this is an example of an improvement that enhances agriculture, but with the company, it really gives them a boost that way to do that. So with SBIR, there are two phases that they can apply for funding. One again, the phase one is just to kind of proof the concept, move forward, and then they move into more advanced research and development, and hopefully commercialize the project as they move into phase three of the project, which would be the commercialization phase. And there can be funding provided for phase one and phase two.
Susan, so to be clear, do the businesses have to be agriculturally focused, or is it any kind of...
No, they do not have to be. Clearly that when you think of USDA, you think of agriculture first, but it does not necessarily have to be an agriculturally based business.
Okay.
They're also focused on the environment, clearly rural health care, rural communities needs, and improving the economies and sustainability in rural communities. So it doesn't have to specifically be agriculture related. And I can share with you some of the topic areas. Obviously, things related to the environment as far as air, soil, and water. They obviously animal production and crop production are other areas. Agriculture is one of the other topic areas that they focus on. Anything around biofuels and bio-based products. Forest and related products. There are even one of the success stories I was reading was really more about urban forestry. So it can even, relate to things that we think of in the city, even though it's a USDA, project. And then, as I said, things related to rural and community development, and also small and mid-sized farms, obviously, is another area.
And in terms of the workshop on June 28th, this Thursday, what specifically will these potential business models, these potential business owners be learning and doing?
Okay. In the workshop, it really will be just an introduction to the program, helping them understand if maybe they're going to be a good candidate for the program. We'll be going over the specifics of who qualifies. Then we will talk specifically about, share some of the success models that we've seen in other businesses, share some of the stories like I was telling you. Then just basically just increase their overall awareness. We recognize that, we may have some businesses that come to the workshop and maybe they're not ready to start right now, but it's certainly something that they learn more about, and then maybe next year they might even be prepared. We do expect the announcement for this year's grant through SBIR to come out in early July. So we're trying to kind of kick off this in conjunction with that to increase awareness, but we realize everyone may not be ready to, do an application and have it submitted by October, but certainly if they start thinking about it, then maybe it's something that they're ready to do next year. But we certainly will, try to help through the process if they want to continue through this year. And that would be resources that we could provide through my office and also through the local Small Business Development Center and the PTAC over at Johnny Logan College.
And maybe if people are on the fence, what are some of the benefits to this type of grant?
Okay. It's really helping them to advance their project forward. It does provide funding through both grant phases, and this is not something that you have to pay back. So it's money that they actually get to utilize toward their project. They also don't have to give up equity or anything like that in their program.
And really, what are you hoping the reaction is from the community by offering a program like this?
Okay. What I think for us mainly, it goes back to that goal of really just to increase awareness of this program, especially in our rural area. The other thing, clearly with hosting it here in Carbondale, is the opportunity to maybe, with the university setting, to link some of the researchers here at the university to these small businesses so they can partner to maybe, do the research that's required to move these projects forward. So it's a win-win, if we can do that. And this hosting it here in Carbondale is a great place to do that, to help them make the connections with the university community.
And, you mentioned in the beginning that you tend to sometimes have a more difficult time getting applicants from rural areas like Southern Illinois for grant opportunities like this specific one. I mean, are you hoping to change that with this program?
I think that's the goal long term, and it's certainly something that, I wouldn't anticipate that we have 20 or 30 applicants come out of this region. But I think even if we have one or two, or maybe we have a few more next year, I think that's the overall goal. Is, it's an additional message in our toolbox that we can promote as far as education that we provide through University of Illinois Extension and the Small Business Development Center. It just really helps us to provide one more way that we can help small businesses to grow and be successful here in the region.
Yeah, and one of the things I see with this, Susan, is this kind of a continuation of a lot of the work you've been doing over the last several years. I know that one of the things you work on a lot, and many people may have heard you talk about this, is the impact of buying local. And so a lot of these small regional businesses, local businesses in these rural areas have a much more significant impact in terms of the dollars invested in them or spent with them than I think some of the bigger national businesses where the dollars flow out of the community and back to a national headquarters. Can you kind of touch on that a little bit? Because it's something we talk locally about, that recycling of the dollars and why it's important for small businesses to be able to have opportunities here.
Absolutely. And certainly this is just another method. The more small businesses and entrepreneurs that we have in the region and the more successful they are, the more money that we can maintain in the region. I was reading an article the other day, and it was just really from a small business owner's standpoint about, how important it is for local business and, to utilize them, is that they're the ones that, people are coming to. As if you need, new football jerseys, or you need, a donation for, a local charity or anything along those lines, that small businesses are really driving our local economy here in Southern Illinois. And so the more businesses that we have and the more successful they have, it keeps more dollars here, but also perhaps with this Small Business Innovation Research program, maybe it also provides them an opportunity to commercialize a product, and then more new money can actually come into the region too, and then we can keep more money in the area. And so it just creates a more sustainable economy for Southern Illinois, and that's one of the things we struggle with, with just some of the challenges that we have, that we don't have a lot of large employers. We're heavily reliant on government for employment. And so the more, small business and innovation that can occur in the region, the more new money that comes in, and then also the more opportunity that there is for local people to spend their money and invest in other small businesses and keep the money here.
And what is that multiplier we always talk about how the dollar is recycled typically in a local business?
The multiplier is really a moving target, and it's primarily because when I left home in Vienna, my multiplier may be very small. When you get into a larger area like Carbondale, the multiplier may be more significant, just because you have more opportunities for more people to spend their dollar locally. You have just a variety of different sectors where they can spend their money. So where your multiplier might be, maybe I'm guessing 5 or 6 here, it might be a 2 or 3 or 4, in other small communities. So we hesitate to give just a number and say that the multiplier is a 3, a 4, a 7. Really, a lot of the statistics that you'll read say that it's a 7, but that's not a reality here in Southern Illinois. In many of our small communities, where some of them don't even have local grocery store, they have limited places that people can actually spend their dollar. So the multiplier can't be very large, because for so many of the things that people need, they have to source out that, whether it's in a larger community or buying online. And certainly we're seeing the multiplier decline more and more as there's more online shopping. So it's less and less dollars staying in the area.
And maybe if someone is on the fence, or maybe here's the word grant and automatically thinks, oh my gosh, a lot of paperwork, this is going to be a long process, you guys can really help them start this journey and provide them with some tools and resources to get their plan perhaps off the ground.
Right. And certainly I won't I don't want to underestimate the amount of work. It obviously is something that there's a lot of work in putting a grant application together. It's certainly something that we want to help chart you on that course over the course of the next few months, rather than just kind of waiting to the end and thinking you can throw everything together. So the more planning that they can do in advance, and that's why we wanted this rollout in conjunction with the announcement from USDA on the offering. So, but it is a lot of work. We certainly can help along the way, as can other partners like the Small Business Development Center and PTAC and things like that. But it is a lot of work. It's not, just a guarantee that they will get the grant. So you want a very compelling grant application, as with anything, to make sure that you're the recipient of those dollars. But certainly, I think, we have a lot of great innovators and entrepreneurs in this region, again, and I think that, it's worth a shot for them to apply for this. But it's not necessarily just easy. It's not something they're going to do in an afternoon. But we can, kind of help them chart out the course, and certainly help them, review their application and things like that, and keep them on target.
Great. And if someone is interested in this Small Business Innovation Research Program workshop going on Thursday at the Dunn Richmond Center, the campus of Southern Illinois University, how can they go about signing up or learning more information?
Okay, they can sign up online through the University of Illinois Extension. They can go to the website page for the Saline, Gallatin, Hamilton, White, Pope, and Hardin office.
That's a mouthful.
You can just search under one of our counties and it'll come up, and we have a link to where they can register online. Certainly they can also contact me by email if they like, at sodum, SODUM, at illinois.edu, and I would be happy to help them with that process as well.
Great. Susan Odom with the University of Illinois Extension Office, thanks so much for joining us today. We covered a lot of really good information.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Yep. And we'll take a short break, and we'll be right back in just a few moments.
Good morning, this is Alicia with the City of Carbondale, here to bring you this week's calendar of events. On Friday, June 29, 2018, the Varsity Center presents the classic Beatles film, A Hard Day's Night. Beginning at 7 p.m., tickets are $5. The doors open at 6:30 p.m. Just 1 month after they exploded onto the U.S. scene with their Ed Sullivan Show appearance, John, Paul, George, and Ringo began working on a project that would bring their revolutionary talent to the big screen. A Hard Day's Night, in which the bandmates play really exuberant versions of themselves, captured the astonishing moment when they officially became the singular idols of their generation and changed music forever. Come sing along with the Beatles. For more information, call 618-457-5353. And on Saturday, June 30th, 2018, it's Fresh Fitness. The City of Carbondale has teamed up with Carbondale Park District to host a series of fitness classes every Saturday during the Carbondale Farmers Market in June and July. Classes begin from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Turley Park. Experience is not required. Please wear comfortable clothes and bring a water bottle, towel, or yoga mat. A cash donation of $5 is suggested. For more information on these events and others, please visit our website at WDBX.org or CarbondaleTourism.org, or you can reach us by phone at 618-457-3228. Thank you and have a great week.
Good morning, and thanks so much for joining us for Talk of the Town. You're listening to WDBX FM Carbondale, and we have another guest in studio. We have Stephen Mitchell with the City of Carbondale. He's the Economic Development Director, and he's also kind of spearheading the Halloween festivities here in Carbondale. Thanks so much for joining us, Steve.
Hey, Amy. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
And first off, it is true. The City of Carbondale is bringing Halloween back.
It is true. Halloween is back from the dead. It's like a zombie Halloween, but it's going to be a lot more fun than years past. we're really super excited about it. We've got a huge crowd of people that are on the committee, people from all walks of life, all professional experience. We've got SIU representatives from the REC and from the Student Programming Council. We've got representatives from Boys and Girls Club, from the Chamber of Commerce, from the Carbondale Police Department, from Tourism, from Green Earth, from Rotary. We've got community members, we've got business owners, we've got local band members. It's really a neat collection on the committee.
And why now? Why bring Halloween back?
Well, it all started with the eclipse. During the run-up to the eclipse, no one really knew how many people we were going to have, but we ended up with around 50,000 people, and it was proof that the city of Carbondale can have a big event with tens of thousands of people, and everyone has a good time. It was safe, it was fun, and we just got some great feedback on it. And a couple weeks after the eclipse is over, we pulled together a group of downtown businesses to talk a little bit about what went right, what went wrong, what we could do differently. And one of the consistent requests that we heard during that conversation with our businesses was the city of Carbondale needs more signature events. We've got a great Lights Fantastic event in December. That draws a lot of people, and it's got a great reputation, but there needs to be some more. Needs to be some in the spring, needs to be some in fall, maybe some in the summer. And Halloween came up, actually. So we decided, you know what, let's look at this. And here we are.
And so your committee has been meeting since early this spring. And what types of things do you have planned? Halloween coming back Saturday, October 27th.
That's right. Actually, our very first meeting was Valentine's Day. So we started in I'll always remember that. We started in mid-February. And we meet about every 2 weeks, give or take. And we put together a pretty interesting schedule of events, actually. It's starting on the Friday before, Friday the 26th, October 26th. And so we've got the Pumpkin Glow, which is sponsored by Green Earth. And so some of the fundraising that comes from that is going to go directly to Green Earth. Halloween Town is a movie that's sponsored by the Student Programming Council. That's going to be the Steps of Shryock on Friday evening. And then also the last of the Fourth Friday Fairs that Carbondale Main Street sponsors is on Friday. And then finally, on Saturday, the interesting thing about Saturday is, I guess the entire program for that weekend is that we're pulling together new events and combining them with existing events. So the Pumpkin Glow was an existing event, and we're also working with Carbondale Safe Halloween. George Sheffer, the former owner of Murdale True Value, has come back, and he's working very closely with Murdale Ace. They're one of the primary sponsors for that event, and so they're going to be helping bring that back. And also the Great Carbondale Pumpkin Race, which is a huge event that everybody really enjoys, and Carbondale Rotary Morning is going to be involved with that, and as well as Carbondale Main Street. So we're pulling together a lot of existing events that have a long history, as well as some new ones too.
And specifically, we're talking about a Monster Dash 5K in the morning on October 27th, as well as some live entertainment following the pumpkin race at the new Washington Street concert venue. Mm-hmm. So it really sounds like there's something for the entire family, whether it's mom and dad or the little kids as well.
You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly right. We're trying to attract our local families, a regional audience, as well as our students. So we've got three main audiences, and we're really hitting on families with the Safe Halloween and the 5K, which is a fun run, and a Kids Dash. So we're really pretty excited. And then the more adult-centered activities start late afternoon and go into the evening.
And this is kind of similar, though. A lot of people that's been in Carbondale a while know that the Halloween's history kind of started with the same kind of focus, right? Like dressing up in costumes and people, families going downtown, and then it slowly evolved into something different. But we're trying to revisit that. Yeah,
absolutely. I hate to admit this, but I was at some of the early ones when adults would dress up and they'd bring their kids and they'd parade up and down Illinois Avenue, and it was just a great feeling. It was really friendly. A lot lot of families involved, and yeah, we're trying to bring that back. Absolutely. And I think now is a good time to do it. I think with the attitude that we have, the general attitude in public, and the strong desire to have events in the downtown area, I think we've hit this right, just exactly at the right time.
And one of the really neat things about this specific event is there's been an outpouring of community support. I know just from attending the committee meetings, every week it seems like we're getting 1 to 2 more people from different facets of the community.
Yeah, they actually the community's come out in full support of this. That at least majority of people that I've spoken to, and as you mentioned, Amy, Green Earth and the Women's Center and the Boys and Girls Club, SIU's Alumni Association, as a matter of fact, has been a huge partner in this. Murdale Ace is sponsoring pretty much all of the portion of all the costs, covering all the costs for the safe Halloween out at Murdale. And we've even got a new sponsor, Illini Care Health has chipped in sponsoring. So, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that really what got the ball rolling on this event was the Carbondale Business Development Corporation. That group, it's a local economic development support organization, and they stepped up with a $50,000 donation to help us get started, and then the city matched with $25,000. So that's sort of what we have to work with, and we're trying to make the best use of that funding, and roll that over into next year as well.
And if there are people who maybe are a bit skeptical of bringing Halloween back, what do you hope the reaction is once it happens October 26th and 27th? I mean, this is something that you're planning on bringing back each and every year.
Absolutely. That's our goal. That we would love to see this become a return to be an annual event, but with focus on family friendliness and safety.
And obviously it takes a lot of helping hands to make an event like this possible. I'm assuming there's still a great need for people to get involved, whether it be volunteering or actually setting up shop as a vendor. Yeah,
we've got vendor spaces available in the music venue on Washington Street, and right now we have 4 food vendors there. We'll probably have room for some adult beverages and that sort of thing. But there will always be need for volunteers. Anyone who is interested in helping can always contact me at the city.
And what's your contact information, Steve?
You can reach me directly at area code 618-457-3286.
And we do have a website that will hopefully be live in the next month to 2 months. It's carbondalehalloween.com.
It is, yeah. The Marketing Promotions Committee has done an outstanding job of not only getting the name, but they're also working with Arthur Agency, who's donated time to create a logo as well as a website for free, and put together a really comprehensive marketing strategy. And I think not only will programming as well, music programming and event programming be important to the success of this, but the marketing will be too. So I'm excited to see the marketing strategy be put in place.
And you're hoping people not only from Carbondale come out to this wonderful event, but you're hoping people from surrounding communities as far as Metropolis or Paducah or even Cape Girardeau come to Carbondale for Halloween.
Absolutely. And we're keeping the surrounding region in mind when we program music. We're looking at bringing bands in that kind of would appeal to an adult audience.
Great. Anything else, Steve, that maybe Gary or I forgot to ask you? I know a lot of exciting things are happening with the Halloween event, and people will have to stay tuned to learn more because lots of things in the works right now.
Right. Well, the only other thing are the bands, and it's too early yet to really make an announcement on all the different bands. We're going to have room for, I think, 6 bands at a time. We've got 2 great local bands signed up. We've got a really interesting national act who's going to be our opener, and we're still working on a headliner. But when we get the headliner nailed down, I'd love to come back and make that announcement.
Absolutely. So it seems like we're really trying to incorporate the great local and regional talent as well as bring someone from somewhere else.
That's exactly right. Not only are we focusing on our community members and our great community institutions, but we're also focusing on our great local bands as well.
Great. Thanks for stopping by, Steve. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And that's all we have for today. We appreciate you joining us for Talk of the Town, and we'll be back next week talking about 4th of July fireworks. It's hard to believe it's already time for the 4th of July, Gary.
It's unbelievable how
summer's flying by. And then we also will be talking about some free dental screenings brought to us by Southern Illinois University. So thanks so much for joining us. Keep an umbrella handy.
And
Gary has one more
dental
thing.
screens, we were just talking about this. If some folks may have noticed on Facebook, I don't know if it's been actually it was in the Southern Illinois yesterday. There's the Delta Regional Authority sponsors this wonderful program through the Department of Defense, actually. So the military does a medical deployment every other year in the region, and currently it's in Harrisburg. So anyone in the area that needs health care, that